All right, everyone, so I just passed my instrument check ride yesterday, and I kind of just wanted to make a video and talk about everything that you guys are probably going to experience on the check ride. It's going to more than likely be your second check ride. If not, it'll be your third. I don't know why it would be your third. People usually get their instrument before their commercial. But I want to talk about the instrument check ride to you guys because I went into it scared as hell, and I came out of it happy as can be. So my name's Captain Ethan. It's a beautiful day to fly planes, and this is my experience on the instrument check ride. It's still all fresh in my brain, and also wrote some notes as well. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna name really everything that I did, but I'm gonna go through everything that happened on my check ride from the beginning of the oral to, let's say, the end of the flight. I didn't really make that many mistakes on the check ride. There was one thing on the oral that got me tripped up, and one thing on the flight where, I almost we'll talk about it. Anyways, let's talk about the oral. So we get to the airport, we sit down, we pull everything out, and I made report with the DPE. It's always a good idea to make conversation, get to know them a little better, see how their day is going. So we fill out all the paperwork, IACRA, and then I got a risk assessment, and then a risk assessment for the plane. Or it's not really a risk assessment, it's like I might have it somewhere actually. I might have a copy of it. Okay, it wasn't exactly in this format, but it was something like this. There was a comprehensive airworthiness checklist. We had to go through, make sure the airworthiness registration, AFM, weight and balance supplements, placards, markings, compass, deviation card, external data plate, all that fun stuff. The one thing that the DPE wants you to find as well is a VOR check. And if you don't have one in the plane, make sure you guys go do one before the check ride. Just make sure you have it. He's gonna ask for it. And then after that, we went over the cross-country route. He made me go call a weather briefer, so 1-800-WX-BRIEF. I might make a video on how to call a weather briefer and everything that you have to do for that. Let me know if you guys want me to make a video on how to get a weather brief thing, either an Outlook, standard, or abbreviated. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll be happy to make that video. So we pull up the route. It was from blank to Key West. We went over the route. He didn't ask me much about the weather briefing, and then I also had an alternate in the flight plan, but we'll get over that in a little bit too. He asked me what personal minimums are, like my personal minimums for IFR flight. Since I don't have much actual time, my personal minimums are a lot higher. You guys might think, because I'm me and I make YouTube content, that I probably do stupid shit all the time. No, I actually have reasonable personal minimums. Since I'm still a newly minted instrument pilot, like I haven't even flown yet since the check ride, my personal minimums are going to be 3 statute miles visibility and 2,000 ceilings. I would set your personal minimums higher as well, and then bring them down as you gain more actual instrument experience. Like, I think actual time, I only have maybe 4 hours of actual. Let me pull it up for you guys. At the time of recording this video, I was way off. I am at 1.9 actual instrument time. Not really that much actual instrument time. So my personal minimums are gonna be a little bit higher. Also, let's talk about is IFR fuel requirements. When do we need an alternate? There was one question, I'll talk about the one question that messed me up. This was on the weather section. Also, when you take your check ride, know your stuff as well. Just know everything, study everything. I'm going through what I went through on the check ride. I'm leaving some things out as well because there's a lot to go over on the check ride. So I'm kind of just adding in the important things that you guys should know the most. There's one question that messed me up. It was what causes wind shear? And the scenario was landing at Lakeland, and on the ATIS there was a low level wind shear advisory. So basically, what causes that? That was the one question that tripped me up on the oral. MEAs, MOCAs, Tango Airways, Victor Airways, filing a precision versus non-precision for an alternate, which is going to be your 602 and 802. What causes a thunderstorm? 3 stages of a thunderstorm. What kind of weather do we get with a low pressure system? Good or poor visibility and stable air. Weather with a cold and warm front. What are isobars? What do isobars mean if they're close together on the chart? What is the turbulence chart? What is an icing chart? Where does icing form first? What icing form on the wings or the tail first? What is CFIT? And then brief a SID, brief an approach. We didn't brief a star. The stars are pretty easy to brief. Same thing for SIDs. SIDs are extremely easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy because it's hard. There could be some pretty complicated SIDs, but I got a radar SID. If you guys know what the difference between radar and RNAV SIDs are, radar SIDs, basically you take off on a heading, ATC will give you a radar vector to a fix. And then from the fix, you join your assigned or filed route. RNAV SIDS, you basically fly the departure procedure, and then you have a transition onto your route. Okay. That's pretty much for the oral portion. Just know all your stuff. So go through the ACS, all the knowledge, the skills, the risk management, all that fun stuff. There's a bunch of resources. Go through your Pilots Cafe. You just look up Pilots Cafe IFR PDF on Google. It'll be up there. I'll send you guys a link for it as well. It'll also be in my Discord server if you guys want to join that, link in the description below. So know that. Also go through the instrument oral stage check guide. It's also in the link in the description and on the Discord server. I keep a lot of the assets that I use on the Discord server, so join the Discord server. I'll be uploading more stuff onto the Discord server. Just let me know that you guys, what rating you guys are working on, and then I'll give you your ratings that you have. Probably have a different system for that though later. That's part of one of my projects. Okay, flight portion. So the DP is going to watch you pre-flight to make sure everything's good. I can't remember if my DP did that with private, but he did with instrument. I think he did for private. He asked me for the external data. He asked me where the external data plate is, and I could not find it on my private check ride. If you guys don't know where the external data plate is on the Cessna 172, it's going to be on the pilot door, so left door, and then it's like in the sill. Safety briefing before we got into the plane. We did the run up, taxied the runway, took off. We did 3 approaches. We did a VOR approach and then 2 RNAVs, one with LNAV minimums, one with LPV minimums. One of the approaches were partial panels, so if you're doing it in a G5, he's going to put a sticky note over your attitude indicator. Basically, the biggest tip with that my flight instructor has given me, which I'm going to tell you guys, is rely on your vertical speed indicator. Here, I'll actually draw this out for you guys. You guys have your standard 6-pack of instruments. This is your airspeed. This is your attitude. This is your altitude. This is your turn coordinator, directional gyro, or your heading indicator. Oh, am I in the way? I think I'm in the way. Directional gyro and your VSI. So basically what he's gonna do is, we're gonna grab a sticky note. Basically all he's gonna do is he's just gonna put a sticky note right over your attitude indicator. And if you guys use your if you guys do the T-scan where it's attitude, directional gyro, sure, let's draw it out. Attitude to directional gyro, attitude to altitude, and airspeed to altitude. The minute that he puts this on, you're gonna switch your instrument scan. My instrument scan, whenever I was partial panel, I would rely on directional gyro, and I'd basically go directional gyro to VSI, back to directional gyro to turn coordinator, directional gyro to altitude, and then directional gyro to airspeed. I've tried to keep the airspeed around 95 knots, and then I try to keep this at 0. If you guys see the needle going towards 500 either side, just do the opposite. This will show the rate a lot faster than this. A lot faster. Cool. Whiteboard is done. That was a great explanation in my opinion, and now I'm gonna have to clean my whiteboard. Honestly, if you guys can get down partial panel, you guys will be good for the check ride. Mind you, I had foggles on, so we did the VOR approach, we did the hold and the VOR. You switch it to the green TDI once you're cleared for the approach. We did a vectors to final with LNAV minimums, and then that's when we did the partial panel, and then we also did the published mist. We did the published mist to the hold, and then the full procedure to LPV minimums. It was a touch and go. And then the 2 unusual attitudes. When you guys do unusual attitudes, your DPE might trip you up a little bit. When I was training my flight instructor, when we would do unusual attitudes, he would pull the trim all the way to trim up, and then we'd just keep climbing, and you really had to push down and re-trim out the plane. But on my check ride, my DPE put down flaps. So if you guys wonder why your airspeed is not climbing when you're at full power, just look down into your right a little bit and make sure your flaps are up as well. But yeah, check your flaps, check your trim, and unusual attitudes. Then we did 2 steep turns, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. You guys have to hold this at 45 degrees, try to maintain 100 feet up or down. Same thing like on privates, you're just doing them all under the foggles. And then we turned it back, did the landing. Of course, I had a terrible landing in a 172. Filled out the paperwork and got my temporary. So let's talk about the check ride. I was extremely nervous for this check ride. I thought it was gonna be the hardest check ride in the world. All the DP really cares about is that you know your stuff. So you know basically all the things that can kill you. like icing, turbulence. He asked me on the oral like what to do if you get through a thunderstorm, which talk to your instructor about this. I bet you your instructor will probably say just punch right through it, because that's what you're supposed to do. If you turn while you're in a thunderstorm, you can risk flipping the wings. One of the mistakes that I made on my check ride is I blew a heading off by 30 degrees. I don't know what I was thinking or what I was doing, but I noticed that I blew my heading off by 30 degrees. I'm like, oh, I missed that. Let's turn back. As long as you are not consistently outside of the standards, you'll be able to pass the test. If you're constantly outside the standards and you make no effort to get back inside of the standards, that's when you're gonna fail the check ride. That is what I've heard from just about every single Cheese Pilot mock world that I have watched at work for the past 3 months. Know your stuff as well. So if you don't know something, know where to look for the answer. You probably won't be looking up too many things. The one thing that you might need to look up is possibly what a symbol means on like a turbulence chart. There's one where I was like, I think this one would mean moderate to severe, but I wasn't entirely sure, but it turned out it was moderate to severe. And the last thing is, if you get signed off for the test, your instructor knows you're gonna pass the test. You're gonna pass the test. It's not a difficult check ride, I would say. But then at the same time, expect it to be difficult at the same time, because you never know what can happen on the check ride. You can, blow an altitude, you can lose situational awareness, all that nasty stuff. Just pay attention, do what you're supposed to do what you're told to do, and then, well, you'll have that certificate in hand. If this video helped you kind of get an insight of what it's going to be like on the instrument check ride, let me know down in the comments below. I'll try to answer as much of your questions as possible. I can't really tell everything about the check ride. Those were just some pointers on the check ride that I had, well, that I have like written down and like what we kind of went through, just to give you guys some insights on what will be on the check ride. But yeah, if you guys are watching this and you guys are nervous, you guys are gonna be fine. I was really nervous. I studied my ass off for it. I'll even show you guys. It was insane. I think this is the right notebook. I have filled up this entire notebook all the way back here. All of these, hold on, let me get closer. All of these pages have information front and back about instrument stuff. A lot of information about instrument stuff, to the point where I can practically read this 3 times and go ahead and teach it. Anyways, if this video helped you, you guys know what to do. Comment down below. Make sure you guys leave a like, and we'll see you guys. Well, I guess we'll see you guys in the clouds.